All right, guys. Well, we all knew when Donald Trump claimed that he was sending 200 people over to El Salvador because they were criminals from gangs, that most likely this was all going to be BS and it was just a big photo opportunity, and once more they're just trying to distract you from all the dumb shit that they're doing every single day of their lives. And as many of you guys pointed out, most of these people that were sent over there had nothing to do with gangs or affiliations with any type of criminal activity. But Trump supporters are going to continue to do the thing they do best, and that is do mental gymnastics to defend all the dumb fuckery that Trump and his administration participate in. This gentleman, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, was deported with the other 200 supposed gang members and criminals to El Salvador. But it turns out that he was not a criminal, nor a gang member, no matter what Trump supporters try to tell you. Instead, he was a father of a 5-year-old child that was living here after the courts had already decided that he could live here without fear of deportation. Now, many Trump supporters are saying right now, well, he's a member of MS-13 and it was proven. Well, it wasn't proven. You see, he was arrested back in 2019 while hanging out in front of a Home Depot looking for work. And I don't know about most of you guys, but I've grown up with gangs, and I can tell you that for the most part, they're not out looking for work. It kind of goes against the whole idea of being a gang member. Generally, if you're in a gang, there's other ways to make money. It's not usually hanging out in front of the Home Depot looking for day labor. But I digress. He was arrested, and the person who was part of the sting program that got him arrested claimed that he was a gang member for MS-13. Of course, there was absolutely no evidence that this was true, and the only thing that they had said was that he was wearing a Chicago Bulls hat and hoodie. And though oftentimes, yes, sporting merchandise can be in some way affiliated with gangs, and if you're an Eastside Crip in Los Angeles, sure, you're probably going to be wearing stuff that has something to do with the Los Angeles Dodgers. But that doesn't mean that every single person that wears Los Angeles Dodgers merchandise turns out to be an Eastside Crip. Nor does it mean that if you wear a Bulls hoodie and a Bulls hat, that means you're part of MS-13. If that's true, then 14-year-old Angry Ginger happened to be a part of MS-13 because I was a huge Michael Jordan fan. And it was proven later in court that he had no gang affiliations. Now, this is a gentleman who from 2016 to 2025 had no criminal record here in America and does not also possess any criminal record in El Salvador either. In fact, the reason that he was here in America was because he had claimed that his mother's business, his pupusa business in El Salvador, was being threatened by gangs in El Salvador, that they would make him and his brother join gangs if his mother did not pay money for protection from these gangs for her business. Thus the reason that the judges decided that even though he had entered the country illegally when he was 16 years old, that he could now reside here under asylum. So unlike many of the January 6th protesters, he was here, had not committed a crime, and actually was living a legitimately good life as an American citizen in Maryland. But the story doesn't end there. You see, just recently, after a judge said that he had to be brought back to America after the Trump administration admitted that, oh my God, it was a mistake. It was a mistake. And the judge said, you need to bring him back. Well, of course, the Trump administration replied with, well, you can't make us do that, alleging that the court has no ability to tell the El Salvadorian government that they have to send him back to America. The lawyer that was working for the Department of Justice was called in front of this judge, and this judge said to this lawyer, how can you explain these things? And the lawyer's reply was, I can't. I've asked for answers from the Department of Justice, and I have gotten none. And in response to that, Pam Bondi removed it.
After struggling in federal court yesterday, the Justice Department has placed one of their attorneys on administrative leave. At the hearing yesterday, a judge asked for information about a Maryland man named Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was deported by the DOJ back in March. The attorney responded by saying Abrego Garcia shouldn't have been deported, adding that he didn't know why he was even arrested. He also made it clear his superiors were not giving him the answers the judge was asking for. Now the Attorney General has been put on leave, and the Attorney General saying he failed to advocate for the U.S. Abrego Garcia is a protected legal resident and has been living in Maryland since 2011. He was deported to an infamous El Salvador prison on March 15th. A federal judge ruled Friday the government must return him to the United States before midnight Tuesday.
That's right. The attorney for the government said this man should not have been arrested and he had no idea why he was. And in retaliation, Pam Bondi said that any attorney that wasn't willing to zealously defend the United States and Donald Trump will be removed from cases. And let me be clear. This guy wasn't here as a criminal. He wasn't here as a gang member. He was here as a sheet metal worker working for a union, raising a 5-year-old autistic child with a hearing problem, consistently meeting all the requirements that he needed to stay here in America. This isn't the case that Donald Trump and his supporters want you to believe it is. They want you to believe that the Democrats are hiding his criminal record. They want you to believe that he's a gang member because he wore sports memorabilia. Well, I guess we better start arresting all kinds of Americans because we love our sports memorabilia. But this is just sad. This is a man who was taken away from his family and sent to an El Salvadorian jail with absolutely no due process. And if you think that this stops with these people, well, you are in for a surprise, because many occasions have now happened where we have seen people that have zero criminal records that are here legally being pulled off the street and deported from our country. And at no point are they being given the due process that being an American allows. Now, if you happen to be one of the people that thinks, oh, wow, okay, well, Trump supporters are going to see this and they're going to wake up to this. Well, let me show you a couple comments that I saw on one of these videos about this gentleman. We have the Briar Wolf. Undocumented migrant and community activist cracked me up. That's a hell of a fancy way of saying illegal alien gang member. Once again, going to point out, this gentleman was never determined to be a gang member. Not by a court of law, not by anybody. Quiet Lightning 4063 said, the problem is you're reporting the story as if the judge is the last word. He is not. What's wrong with people? The judge isn't the last word? Who is? Donald Trump? Tom Arback 6483 says, this court has no business with this case. This piece of shit is part of a designated foreign terrorist gang. He lied when he got here. A judge agreed he lied and approved his removal. Task complete, move on. Once again, one basic Google search shows that Tom here is a moron. Megog, except he's not from Maryland. That's just where he was hiding from ICE. Hiding as a union sheet metal worker. He wasn't doing a very good job hiding. DP Spike, that's a legit kind of sus name, 9368 said, the illegal act was entering the U.S. without a valid visa. She's just sad that he isn't paying her bills now. How are illegal immigrants paying judges again? These people don't make any sense. And it doesn't stop here. It goes on and on and on. At some point, there's got to be a bridge too far. And if you're just a conservative or Republican person and you're not a MAGA cult member that thinks that Donald Trump is infallible, you should agree that people deserve due process. You can disagree with whether or not people should be allowed to be in the country in a certain manner, but every single person that is here in America deserves due process. Specifically, people like this gentleman who the courts have already decided has a right to be here in this country, and the current administration even admits he should have never been deported. Look, I get it. MAGA cult members are never going to say that Donald Trump does anything wrong. Burns down their 401k? Hey, he's got a plan and it's 5D chess you guys just don't understand. Deports people that he wasn't supposed to? Hey, those people, they're probably criminals anyways because, you know, they wore Bulls hoodies. But if you're a Republican or a conservative that still has any of your brain that's still functioning, please stand in solidarity with those of us that have not lost our goddamn mind. And if you're a Democrat or a progressive, share this message. We have to continue to point out all of the places that Donald Trump and this administration continue to screw over not just this country, but countries around the globe by creating a situation that is untenable for not only us, but the rest of the world to deal with. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on all notifications, and please share this video. Remember, I love you guys, I appreciate you guys, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and check out that video on the screen now.